Good evening, everyone, and merhaba and welcome to Yunus Emre Institute London. My name is Şehribanu, and on behalf of the Institute, I would like to welcome you all to the lunch of SEBZE, vegetarian recipes from My Turkish Kitchen, by yours and our favorite chef, Özlem Warren. Her book brings the essence of Turkish vegetarian cuisine to our tables, and offering simple but yet flavorful vegetarian dishes that reflect our rich culinary heritage. And as home of the Turkish culture in London, we are proud to host this event that promises to be as comforting and as inviting her recipes. We believe that all the work that she has put in her book will make you feel, just by reading it, will make you feel at home. We actually had some very emotional moments as a team while we were reading it, tracing all the heritage of Anatolia and Turkey in her recipes. It's an incredible work. So just relax and please feel at home, and let's get ready to enjoy a taste of Turkey by Özlem Warren.
Merhaba, hoş geldiniz. How lovely to see you all here tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. It's an absolute pleasure to be back to Yunus Emre Institute. I can't thank them enough. They not only hosting this beautiful event, but dear Sevim Hanım from Institute made some lovely tasters from SEBZE. There's patlıcanlı börek, filo rolls with aubergines and peppers there. There's poached apricots with clotted cream, kuru kayısı tatlısı. There's portakallı revani, revani semolina cake with orange slices from SEBZE. So after the talk, I'd love you to have a little taste. Hopefully we'll bring you a little taste of Turkey, as they say. Çok teşekkür ederim. Real honor and privilege to be here to meet you and talk about Turkish cuisine. And that is SEBZE. It's my new cookery book. We are very proud of it. I long wanted to showcase that we don't just eat kebabs. Don't get me wrong, we love kebabs. But Turkish cuisine is so rich, so diverse, so delicious, packed full of seasonal produce, grains and regional varieties. And I really wanted people to be aware of that, hence SEBZE. And it's already made us proud. Diana Henry said, an absolute feast of Turkish home cooking. Nigella Lawson did a lovely post praising it. It's already on its second print run. It's translated to Dutch already, coming in August. Next year, the German edition is coming up. So it makes me very, very, very proud. So hopefully you'll have a look and you enjoy what you see. But let's talk about a bit of my southern Turkish roots. So my roots go back to ancient Antioch, Antakya. You may know or you may not. It's a beautiful old city that goes back to biblical times. As a matter of fact, Antioch was the first city that the early Christians came and settled, and they built the very first church out of Jerusalem in Habib Necar mountain. They literally carved that mountain to build that church. It's in Bible, I believe. And I'm so delighted the church still is intact after the devastating earthquake. This is my grandmother's home, 450-year-old stone home. Under those pomegranate trees, mulberry trees, lemon trees, we would gather, we would make mezes, we would prepare katıklı ekmek, we would take it to the bakery to be baked. We would swim with the watermelons in that little fountain. It just is such a special place that brings so many memories. My grandfather, Supi, and my uncle, Shakir, was food merchants. So they not only traded fresh produce as well as spices within Antakya, because Antakya is right by the Syrian border. But they also would trade with Aleppo in those days. You know, Aleppo was unfortunately a very prominent city. So they would always come with cases of aubergines and figs and tomatoes, tomates, and Granny would say, oh, okay, gosh, there's so much stuff. So this goes to Auntie Shefika, that goes to Uncle Mehmet. You know, it's that sense of generosity, that sense of abundance was how we brought up. Door was always open. Someone would always turn up for a meal, always around lunch or dinner time. And Anneanne, Grandma would put extra place on the table because we know there will always be some teyze or uncle would turn up and they would be warmly welcomed, you know, because we always think food tastes even better when it's shared. So I come from that kind of a culture. So when I started living abroad, it's my dear mom who passed away, unfortunately, last year, Gülçin. Incredible, you know, food is a language of love for us. That's how we communicate that we care for one another. This is where we've been teaching at Culinary Institute in Istanbul together, making künefe. We were chatting with one of you how to make künefe. It is one of the delicacies from my hometown, Antakya. And, you know, as I was saying to a dear friend, Oya, memories always with us. Again, you know, living abroad over 20 years, 6 years in the US, then back to the UK. You know, it's a real privilege to teach Turkish cookery all around the world. Boston, Texas, Europe, Turkey, some Fethiye classes there. And and Amman, Jordan there. And it's lovely to see the interest for real, authentic I did turn something off, did I? That's a sign, actually, because I need to give you my phone to say, could you take a video of that? Did I do something wrong? Did I? Apologies. Gadgets don't agree with me. Is it one of these buttons that I shouldn't be pressing? Ah, okay, no, power off. You could take small, short videos. Ah, great, we're back. Lovely. So, hopefully I won't touch anything again. Right, this is a nice slide, which I really try to emanate and in SEBZE too. Turkish cuisine is a really healthy, delicious cuisine, and it is based on thousands of years of heritage. We Turks were nomads. We lived in Central Asia. The cuisine was mostly based on dairy, milk, yufka, and you know, and meat and whatnot. The use of yufka, the use of yogurt, dates back to that period. But as they traveled westwards towards Anatolia, where Turkey is now, you know, they incorporated all influences around and really incorporated more and more vegetables. And today, seasonal produce is one of the essence of Turkish cuisine. I don't know if you've ever been to Turkey, if you've ever been to one of our farmers markets, Pazar. It is a delight. One of the reasons why I chose this cover is because I really wanted to showcase the bounty of Pazar, you know, the variety of vegetables we have. I took our photographer Sam Harris to our farmers market in Dört Levent, and he was just mesmerized. I mean, 10 varieties of olives. You know, it's this is my fruit and veg man. Cheeses galore, isn't it? Vegetables and if you get bored, you have a little break at Özlem's stall and have a chat with the vendor. You make relationships with them, and it's a lovely community, and it was a real privilege to talk about that in the book. Of course, we do use spices. Spices are used delicately. They are used not overpoweringly. You know, it's really the idea is to bring out the flavor of each vegetable, not hiding behind the sauces or spices. Cumin, kimyon, pungent, warm, that makes hummus taste like hummus combined with tahini and lemon juice and olive oil, isn't it? There's dried mint, kuru nane, especially in southern Turkey. Nane is not only used in mezes, but it's also used in main dishes. There's a lovely lasagna recipe in the book with aubergines, peppers, and green lentils that is flavored with pul biber and dry mint. It just really elevates the taste. Sumac, one of my favorite spices. Very tangy, citrus. You can use sumac instead of using lemon. So, you know, zahter. Zahter is not only that wild marjoram oregano herb, but also dried zahter mixture. My nana used to say has about 40 different things in it. I mean, from sumac to crushed chickpeas to cumin to, you know, sesame seeds and many more. It's a beautiful, vibrant blend that the locals in southern Turkey dip their bread into olive oil and then to zahter. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous breakfast. And Turkey is really a crossroad. It's a bridge really connecting East and West, Europe and Asia. This is the entrance of Mısır Çarşısı. Have you ever been to Mısır Çarşısı? One of my favorite places. I mean, the spices, the colors takes you there, isn't it? And you see those dried aubergines and okra and peppers there. So that's, I'm going to actually talk about in a few slides, but that's how we use excess vegetables to dry in southern Turkey to use when they are not out of season. It is an incredible place and dates back to 1884. And of course, Topkapı Palace kitchens, that was a real focal point during Ottoman period and in their heydays. And Ottomans, you know, they were a massive empire. They were all the way up on to Vienna. They couldn't conquer Vienna, but they left the coffee beans, which started the coffee tradition there. A big chunk of Northern Africa, Balkans, Middle East. It's just that incredible blend of diversity and ethnic groups that lived within that umbrella, which enriched the cuisine hugely. Sultan was the sole controller of the spice route, so that meant the very best of spices came again to Istanbul and to Mısır Çarşısı. And have you ever been to Topkapı Palace in Istanbul? It's an incredible place. I mean, under that 10 domes in the kitchens, you could just imagine the size of pots and the pans and whatnot, because they fed in their heyday in 17th century over 10,000 people a day. 1,300 chefs and sous chefs prepared.
I think that they were huge.
Incredible, you know. Some would make only baklava or dessert. Some make only pickles, turşu. Some would only börekçi, do the börek. Some would only do pilav. So they all had their, you know, stations, and the food would go to the poor during religious festivals. They would use food to do business, you know, with ambassadors and whatnot, and mark special occasions. It was a real focal point. So Turkish cuisine has a lot to take from that heritage. But when we look at the main categories today, chorba, soups are a real highlight, and I love a good chorba. I mean, in Anatolia, chorba soup can be the main event, because then, you know, ezogelin çorbası, for instance, that's how folks would start their that's chorba chapter. They're there. But I also would like to show you some unusual çorbas. This is pazılı lebeniye çorbası, charred with chickpeas and the yogurt with pul biber oil. So that's from the southern Turkey. Bal kabaklı kestane çorbası, pumpkin and chestnut soup. That's from the Black Sea region. There's ezogelin, of course, in the book. There's terbiyeli sebze çorbası, vegetable soup with again lemon sauce that we share with our Asian friends. So I mean, it's a very diverse cuisine with lots of regional varieties. Dips, hot and cold mezes are important. That's how we whet the appetite before we move on to the next food, and börek and savory pastries and bread are a special category that I absolutely adore. And when when I started living abroad, I really missed the savory börek. There's lots of sweet stuff, but you don't, when we were in the US at that time, they weren't, unless we go to a Lebanese or, some kind of, similar cuisine restaurant, we would have that. And I think it's so lovely, our böreks are. Salads, again, something I'm really passionate about, because our salads not only showcase the seasonal produce. This is Bostana salatası, for instance, like finely chopped vegetables with a bit of pomegranate molasses, but also our salads incorporates grains and legumes. This is a lovely salad from Black Sea region, bat salatası, with walnuts and green lentils. So lovely. Variety of bean salads, tahinli fasulye piyazı, Antalya style bean salad with lovely tahini sauce, with a vinaigrette. So our salads are nutritious, almost a meal in itself, delicious and very, very healthy. We only use really lemon juice, olive oil, bit of tahini perhaps, pomegranate molasses to flavor. Zeytinyağlıs, vegetables cooked in olive oil, another really special category, that we gently cook vegetables in olive oil, a little bit of water, and flavor with dill or lemon juice. And when it's hot, we eat room temperature or cold. When it's cold outside, we tend to eat, my husband tends to like it on the warm side. And I love it because one of those dishes that it tastes even better the next day. So it's a great one to prepare ahead. And we all live busy lives, so I think it's really important that we can prep recipes ahead of time as well as free. So I like to give a lot of options on that in the book. Turkish breakfast kahvaltı is coming up. I think it's my favorite meal of the day. I can have kahvaltı all day. Casseroles and kebabs. Of course, we have beautiful kebabs as well as vegetables and meat cooked together with köftes and whatnot, or chicken. And bulgur rice legume is an important category again. And bulgur is that whole grain. It's not gluten-free, but it's wholesome and it's so nutty and delicious. If you're looking for a gluten-free option for that, quinoa might be a good option for you. Fish and seafood. Turkey is surrounded by 3 seas, Aegean, Mediterranean, Black Sea, so we have abundance of that too. And cakes and desserts. We do love a nice sweet treat, and we have a lovely variety of it, and they take a center stage in Turkish cuisine. And my dear brother-in-law Mehmet, he wouldn't think he would have his meal complete if he didn't have his dessert. He studies the dessert menu, chooses his dessert, and goes back to the main course and whatnot. Our desserts can be yufka based, like baklava is a lovely pumpkin and walnuts baklava in the book, my take on a regular baklava, or milk or rice based like fırın sütlaç. It could be fruit based like poached apricots, dry apricots with clotted cream, as you'll taste over there. Please come on in. Or grain based like aşure. We also have lovely cakes. Like I made, I include revani with sliced orange slices in the book. Portakallı revani. There's a lovely Turkish coffee marble cake in the book. Pistachio crumbly cookies in the book. So it's so many varieties of treats that you can make, but doable, practical. I'm a cookery teacher, so I'm really passionate that you feel confident enough to have a go and make the dishes, because that's the success of a recipe. If it's not doable, it's only pretty to look at, it's not worth doing that. But hopefully you'll have that confidence. And it really is in line with the food trends Turkish cuisine is. It's seasonal, as we talked about, and sustainable, accessible. I remember living abroad back in early 2000s. we couldn't find bulgur or pomegranate molasses. No one knew what a pul biber is. Now, Waitrose has their own range of pul biber and pomegranate molasses. You know, bulgur is everywhere. Tahini is like that. So it's so wonderful as someone like us who live abroad to be able to access those ingredients. Flexible, but that goes back to Turkish cuisines being a no-waste kitchen. Nothing is wasted in our kitchen, so we have to be flexible. And there's a lot of tips in the book. I say, I talk about Swiss chard, but if you can't find Swiss chard for the recipe, by all means use spinach. By all means use other colored greens. Just use whatever you have at home. And zero waste, of course, that ties with that. So that's a nice slide, actually. Do you like turşu? I love pickles and turşu. And there's a lovely shop called Aslı Turşucu in Istanbul. We did some photo shoots while in Istanbul. Aslı Turşucu at the supplier page. And oh my goodness, the variety of turşu we have. Over 200 different varieties. It's incredible. But one of the things I loved looking at the turşu shop is that, that aubergines. This is stuffed baby aubergines with peppers and whatnot, and as well as beets and the other salatalık turşu, cucumber turşu. It's very easy. The way we make turşu is so straightforward. We don't add other spices or peppers or whatever in it. Really simple with vinegar and rock salt. Has to be rock salt and drinking water. But again, when the vegetables are in abundance, we would make turşu out of that, or we might dry them like in dried aubergines, or we might make paste out of them like biber salçası, pepper paste, as in southern Turkey. So there's always a way to use excess produce, and there's always a way to share that generosity, and repurposing is really a way of life for us. This is a special chart. As you may know, Antakya and big part of Southeast Turkey had a very devastating earthquake last year, which really broke our hearts. I lost so many family members. We lost our 450-year-old home that we can't even think about when you lose so many extended family members. So it was a really, really tough time. But one of the things that I really, really wanted to do was go back to Antakya and meet the local producers and do some photo shoots there. So that was our Meriç Çiftliği, our good friends in Altınözü. We did some photo shoots there. My dear auntie Şefika and family members came. I saw them for the first time since the earthquake. They traveled from Adana, the other parts of Turkey, just to be with us that day. And it was a very special and important shoot, because Antakya people are very resilient. One of the things that started almost immediately after the earthquake was the bakeries. The bakeries are a real community hub in Antakya. They not only make your bread, they also bake your dolma. You prepare your dolma, you take to the bakery. You prepare your flatbread topping, you take to the bakery, and the bakery is back. So here is Yılmaz Bakery making our flatbreads. Just before the earthquake, I was there. And one of the things they started was literally bakeries were back in business. They started just whatever they had, and they started making bread and started cooking people's casseroles. That was a community hub that people gathered. People gathered to support one another. People gathered to talk. People gathered to share whatever they have in their home. So it was very important to go back and document and champion really the local producers like Meriç Çiftliği. We went to their beautiful farm and picked up courgette flowers. We made lovely, çiçek kabak çiçeği dolması. We cried, we talked, and you know, and it gave us hope at that time. It gave us hope that together we'll get this through, and we need to support one another, and we need to remind the world that that area needs support. So that's beautiful, Mary Çiftliği. It was just a miracle that the farm was. They didn't suffer from, because they were up in the mountains. So they hosted us, and we did our shoots there. And I'm very glad the whole world now knows about them, remembers Antakya. The book is actually dedicated to my dear parents, Orhan and Gülçin, and beloved Antakya. And it's just a small way to really remind folks that it is a very special region, and it does need every support that we could give to them. And it is indeed, and many bakeries in Anatolia really acts as a community oven, and that is sustainable. So rather than people turning their oven, they take their dolmas or böreks and whatnot to be baked in the bakery. Again, another No Waste Kitchen recipe from the book. So that's lahana sarması, but I use the pointy sweet hard cabbage here because it's that is well known here. But the stalks of the remaining bits, we don't get rid of them. We chop them and we saute with onions and whatnot to make kapuska. And sometimes we add grains like bulgur in there. So you get 2 meals in one pan. So yeah, it's another real example of kapuska. That's all the family from the book gathered. My aunties, my cousins. It was a real special moment. Just be grateful to have that moment, really. And this is a lovely recipe from SEBZE. That's Bilecik mantısı, a specialty from Black Sea region, where little mantı boats are filled with spiced chickpea, mashed spiced chickpea and caramelized onions filling. It is a delight, but very doable delight, because you can prep ahead and just give a gentle reheat before you eat. And a few other examples from ingredients from Turkish kitchen cuisine. Variety of nuts. Nuts not only appear in dips like muhammara, it also appears in our mezes, in our salads like in bat salad, in the desserts. Biber salçası is a very southern Turkish ingredient, the pepper paste made with the spicy, juicy peppers when they are in season in southern Turkey. But also, green lentils, red lentils, as well as pine nuts. We use pine nuts in dolmas, as well as when we make a special rice. There is a lovely kestaneli iç pilav in the book with apricots that, add that lovely nutty flavor. And pomegranate molasses. I grew up my grandma making nar ekşisi in the pomegranates in the garden. So it is really a lovely, tangy, delicious sauce that we make kısır, spicy bulgur with salad. Turkish breakfast, kahvaltı. I mean, how can you say no to this? One of my best memories is gathering with family, having a variety of börek and eggs and seasonal vegetables, whatever fruit is there, simit, on the table, unrushed. No one rushes. Everyone takes time. They have a bite, they share a story, they have a sip of chai, and afterwards everything is settled. Mom would I think it's time to have Turkish coffee, Türk kahvesi Özlemciğim. Why don't you make a bol köpüklü Türk kahvesi lütfen? It is memories, isn't it? It's all about memories. And again, a spread of desserts, revani, baklava, cookies, variety, and as well as the fruit-based desserts that we talk about. But Türk kahvesi, as we go back to that, it really is more than a drink for us, isn't it? With its rituals and it's so pre-internet, pre-WhatsApp, pre-everything, pre-emails. So I said, I better make him stuffed aubergines, karnıyarık, one of our national dishes. I decided to call mother in Istanbul, Gülçin. costing me an arm and a leg. I'm a student. I'm already broke with a 2-minute conversation about karnıyarık. But my mother explains what to do with the patlıcan, you know, aubergine. So, you know, cut the patlıcan, do this to patlıcan, la la la. And Angus hears all about that patlıcan chat. And he said, Özlem, what is patlıcan that you talk about so passionately? I said, well, that's the main ingredient of the dish. If it's edible, that's your dinner tonight. Karnıyarık. I said, oh, it sounds rather nice. I'll call you patlıcan from now on. My name at home is patlıcan. And short patlı. Really is. It's very sweet, and I'm rather fond of it. Not that sweet when you go to Turkey and he calls you patlıcan. But the story comes to that is that, so we had a 6-year long distance courtship because I finished university. I was offered a job in Istanbul. And he was with BP at that time in Aberdeen. So he came many times to Istanbul, met my family, traditional family, but he really liked Angus, but of what's going on, 6 years, nothing's happening. So there I questioning, ne olacak bu kızın hali? And one morning, just before we were having breakfast, Mom is on her curlers making gözleme, Dad squeezing his portakal suyu or Angus. Angus came in his suit, dressed, you know, shaved, you know. I'm like, oh gosh. Mom said, oh my goodness, something might be happening. So Angus said, may I please have a word with your mom and dad, Ozlem? So we came to salon, oturma odası, and then he very sweetly asked wanted to ask my dad's permission, but he can't speak the language, so I am here explaining and translating. It's beautiful affection and all that lovely hospitality. So it's nice sometimes you censor things, you know, because all the translation. Yeah, some folks may understand what I'm saying, but it was very sweet of him. And then Mom said, Özlemciğim, it's 8 a.m. in the morning. You made to make bol köpüklü, çok güzel, frothy coffee, Turkish coffee for Angus. That's what the tradition asks. I summoned the kitchen. I made him a nice bol köpüklü Türk kahvesi and brought him to him. And he did drink, bless him. He couldn't speak for 2 days afterwards, apparently. So strong. But he got his, you know, permission, and it was a special moment. But yes, I'm trying to say, really, it is more than a drink. And now my mom passed away, and I'm still full of memories. But whenever I make it, I remember, you know, its memory is always with us, and it is a special drink. But above all, it's really Turkish hospitality. It is a lovely showcase of hospitality today Yunus Emre is doing for us. It's beautiful food from SEBZE and lovely drinks, and it really feels like coming home. And I think that's what sums up for us our culture. We say in Turkish cuisine, başımın üstünde yerin var. I place you at the top of my head, and we always think whatever food we have tastes better when it's shared. This is one of my cookery classes in Austin, Texas, Central Market. Lovely friend, so she loved the aubergine so much that she wanted to wear as a necklace. And this is one of the spreads, family spreads from SEBZE. I was very lucky that we did have a chance to do some location shoot, not only in Antalya, but also Istanbul. Beautiful photography all through Istanbul, the street food and whatnot. But we also did some shoots at my mother's flat in Istanbul, where we gathered and ate so many meals around the table with family. And I was very lucky that I had my uncle, who was visiting from Orlando actually from that time, around the table, and the cousins. On that table that we ate for 20 years, and Mom and Dad were with us. So a piece of them will live through the book, and a touch of the speciality of how family is important in Turkish cuisine. And with that, I really want to thank you very much, Yunus Emre Institute, for all your help to support Turkish cuisine abroad and gathering us here, hospitality. Çok teşekkür ederiz.
Biz teşekkür ederiz.
Oh, have I finished? I finished. But before before that, I thank you all too. It really means a lot that you are here together for us. Çok teşekkür ederim. It's a real honor to be here to talk about Turkish cookery. And we have copies of SEBZE. If you would like any copies, I'd love to sign. I think that's the next stage. And also,
we can open up the floor for a few. Maybe
sorry,
few
questions. Yes,
if you
absolutely. Please do. Yeah, I'd love to answer questions. Yes, please.
You did mention about the tarhana çorbası.
Sorry, I think they are passing the...
Testing.
So tarhana, yes, I have erişte in the book. Tarhana, I think it says so many varieties. There's only 85 recipes I could choose. So next book, I promise you a tarhana çorbası. But there is erişte in it. Yes, it's lovely. Tarhana is gorgeous too. You're right. Thank you.
May I ask you a question about ingredients?
Sure.
For those of us who are health conscious, I'm not one of them. Lots of people on my groups who are. I suppose, particularly in relation to cakes and sweets, is it possible to use substitutes like stevia or Canadian maple syrup?
Absolutely. Absolutely. In the book, you'll see many recipes have gluten-free, vegan option, gluten-free option icons. And almost every recipe has preparation ahead tips, variations, wherever possible. Not every recipe has a chance to be a vegan or a gluten-free, but wherever applicable, absolutely. And you know, I'm not precious that, oh gosh, my recipes cannot be touched. Absolutely not. I love readers to own the recipes and really adopt the way it fits their diet. And one of the things I don't talk too much about, which I should really, is how healthy Turkish cuisine is actually. Packed full of seasonal produce, legumes and pulses and grains, olive oil. We cook mainly with olive oil. Of course, there is use of butter, and butter is apparently not naughty, and it's good. Everything in moderation, that's what I believe. But absolutely, you know, and you'll see in many recipes there are, say, rather than using this, why don't you choose that if you want to make it gluten-free or vegan or whatever. But in general, Turkish cuisine is very... Our sweets, I think, perhaps quite sweet, but my taste buds, you know, I don't make very sweet desserts. You'll be tasting revani with orange slices compared to what revani is at home. Mine is a very light revani. Still sweet, don't get me wrong, but I don't, you know, like drenching things over sugar and whatnot. But overall, Turkish cuisine is very adaptable, very adaptable. Yes, please.
Yeah, we know British food is chicken curry, and with all respect for French and Italian food, we know French food is only onion soup, and Italian is only spaghetti. Now I can count. I am not Turkish, but I can count maybe 100 types of and recipes of Turkish food and Arabic food as well.
Yes.
But why we don't promote them here in Britain?
Well, that's why I'm here.
No, but if you listen to the TV, cooking programs in the TV,
yeah.
you don't see anyone, maybe once every 10 years.
You're right. I hope it changes.
I want to see in I'm talking about the British cooking programs, you know, TV programs.
True.
TV. Every day there is 10 programs.
We are working on it.
Where is dolma? Where is baba ganoush? Where is lamochin? Where is dolma? Where is mahshi? I don't know.
True, it's getting a little bit better. It's a bit more diverse. We are working on it. Fingers crossed.
Thank you.
Fingers crossed. You're
only
absolutely
Green
right.
Lanes is Turkish here in London.
You're
only
absolutely right. Well, that was an attempt to really, now, you know, people like Nigella Lawson talked about SEBZE. Diana Henry has a quote on the book saying absolute feast of Turkish home cooking. These are incredible accolades, you know. It's now being translated into German and Dutch, and so these are all perhaps baby steps, but hopefully more people maybe like me slowly will get there. But baby steps, you're absolutely right. That's why I would love Turkish cuisine to be at least remember with Italian, with Greek, with, you know, other Mediterranean cuisines, with the health aspect, with the use of olive oil, with the use of seasonal produce. And of course, Levant, you know, flavoring through spices and whatnot. Like we have a lot of similarities with Lebanese food
So we look
too.
forward to see you on TV.
Oh,
With
thank
Jamie
you.
Oliver or-
I'm really trying my best. It's hard, but we are trying. Thank you. It's very kind of you.
One last question. May I ask you a question?
Of course.
The book is beautiful.
Thank you.
I arrived 3 days ago.
Oh.
And I've been looking through it, and I don't mean to offend anyone, but it's pure food porn. It's absolutely glorious. The photography is lovely, the recipes are lovely, but also the art direction is beautiful.
Thank you.
The styling of the book, the typography, the colours that you've used, it just took me back to my Teyze's house. in
Oh, I'm
Istanbul.
delighted. Thank
And I was
you.
reminded of the Pereja logo and all of that evocative, really classy period art direction that we saw in Turkey sort of in the 70s and 80s. It's got really, really beautiful.
the retro
So
vibes,
compliments to you. Because
That's
it's a
very
really
kind.
beautiful book, and I can't wait to make some
Oh,
of your
thank. I
recipes.
mean, over 2.5 years we work. It's a lot of work, cookery. I mean, recipes tested 10 times. My children, again, another chickpea wrap, mommy. Yes, one more time chickpea wrap with
Can I
pia
take
salad.
up with one of your children then? Because Amazing. Just
That's very kind. Thank you. I mean, it's been getting really good reviews, so that's really touches. But from coming
It's a
from
lovely
you,
book to look at as well. I mean, I'm a cook, but I also am an aesthete, and I look at the book and I'm drawn to it because it's so beautifully presented.
thank you. We try. You know, it's just as you say, because we wanted it to transport folks to Turkey, evoke good memories, take a culinary journey home, but also entice and invite you to try. Recipes are short, not long. We all have limited times, and I'm very aware. I have two children, and I teach, I travel, so my time is limited. So I'm very well aware that, you know, there are limitations. So, you know, factoring it all in, that's why, you know, it was over 100 recipes, so I had to cut back to 85 to fit in with all those criteria. But yeah, thank you. Your kind words really mean a lot. Çok teşekkürler.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for your wonderful presentation.
You're very welcome.
You know, it's made me really hungry. I can feel my stomach's rumbling now. You spoke about your food with such passion, and I'm from London, but I'm a recent convert to Turkish cuisine, and I can see that it's becoming more and more popular amongst non-Turkish people, judging by the number of restaurants that are growing and the number of non-Turkish people who are eating in them. So I think that's all good. I think it's good in a way that Nigella Lawson is promoting Turkish food, but I'd much
Delighted.
rather Turkish chefs were promoting Turkish food on English television myself.
Thank you. Please write to Saturday Kitchen. I've been knocking their doors, absolutely.
So-
Yeah, it's very competitive, and they tend to go through the same people over and over again. But I think it's starting to break.
I hope so. The one thing I wanted to ask you, I mean, lots of reasons for a book on vegetarian food, particularly given your cuisine, it lends itself to vegetarian dishes.
Naturally, absolutely.
But I wondered whether or not as well it was something reflecting a trend in diets in Turkey towards vegetarianism or veganism as a diet.
Is a reason for me to write.
Maybe.
It's just because, you know, my experience of Turkish cuisine abroad, folks, because I teach cookery, and everyone said, oh, do you only eat kebabs or, you know, meze? I said, no. We eat beautiful vegetables cooked in olive oil, zeytinyağlı. We eat lovely mezes, lovely, you know, bulgur dishes or rice dishes and this and that. They weren't aware. Hence, I really wanted to write the book just to say, look, I'm just scratching the surface. There's lots of regional varieties we have. Please try, please have a go. And as you say, you know, I mean, I'm not vegetarian, but I limit my meat intake. I only eat like 2 or maybe 3 times max a week, because I choose to eat more vegetables for my health, and naturally that's how I was brought up, you know. And I just wanted to showcase there are ways to tackle that naturally. You don't have to buy plant-based, some meat substitute. You could use green lentils for it. It's really lovely and tasty and earthy and natural. So this is our take on vegetarian cuisine, and I hope you give it a go. And many people are, which is really great. Which is really great. Yeah, the book is in Australia is a bestseller at the moment. US number 1 or 2 on Mediterranean Turkish cuisine, and the UK I think most gifted and really climbing. So there is a really promising response to that. So fingers crossed.
Özlem Hanım, thank you so much for this
Ben teşekkür
inspiring
ederim.
talk.
Ben
It was
teşekkür-
really a journey throughout Anatolia. And please join me in putting your hands together for Özlem
Oh,
Hanım.
it's very kind. Thank you. Ben teşekkür ederim.
You're welcome to get your book signed, and with payments,
would you mind-
myself and my colleagues will assist you. We take cash and card, and then please have a taste of the delicacies from Özlem Hanım as well.
Would you
And
mind before that? I'm so sorry. May I take? Could we have a group photo? Would you mind doing that? Perhaps.